Hey guys, welcome back to another video in the r/entitledpeople subreddit. I have 3 stories for you today involving a gamer raging entitled uncle, an entitled boomer that thinks he should have free access to his neighbor's yard, and last but not least, a Lego snatching Karen. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy these stories. Friend's gamer uncle is horribly entitled. So for context, I'm part of a group of people to build and modify computers using Raspberry Pi, single board computer the size of a credit card. One common use of the Pi is retro gaming, so on occasion, I'll make an emulation machine using them. So on to the story. I had a good friend in college who loved gaming. I'll call her Sally for this story. Sally said she really loved old school games and I told her about the Pi. She absolutely loved it and asked if I could make one for her. I explained yes, however, she will have to buy the parts that she wants. Side note, I don't buy parts for other people's projects due to both liability and the fact that I don't make a profit. She understands and does just that. After 2 days, I was ready to go and Sally was in retro heaven, if you will. About a month later, Sally messages me and said that her uncle's birthday was coming up. He heard about the Pi and really wanted one for himself. I said sure and reminded her about the parts as mentioned earlier. She agrees, and after about a week, I put together what was arguably the best build I have ever done, both physically and software-wise. She gives it to her uncle and he is absolutely in love with it. I also informed them that if any issues arise, common with computers regardless, to contact me. Well, a week later, I got a call from entitled uncle saying that the Pi isn't working. I asked what is going on, as it could be many issues from a loose HDMI cable to the SD card corrupting. This is the conversation as follows. I don't know what is the matter, it's just broken. Can you please fix it? Are any cords loose? Is the indicator light not working? Is nothing showing up on the screen? Just get over here and fix it. I contact Sally and inform her that her uncle is claiming the Pi is broken and is being belligerent. I'm sorry, he was the perfect child out of my dad's siblings. He can be like that. I'll pay you to check it out if you don't mind and let me know what happened. Sure, let him know I'm coming. So I head over there and of course he's being very condescending. I ignore it and asked where the Pi is. He hands me a plastic bag. I look inside and to my shock, it is completely smashed. I absolutely lose it. What the hell did you do to it? I told you it was broken. What did you break it with, a sledgehammer? I'll be lucky if I can even salvage any of this. Well, that's not my problem, it's yours. At this point, I'm ready to slug him. I simply take the bag home and check every part to see what is damaged and what is still usable. Luckily, the SD card was still functioning. All I had to do was get the Pi, a case, and his 2 controllers. I call Sally and the conversation is as follows. Hey, so I'm looking at your uncle's Pi and it is completely smashed. I don't know what he did to it, but most of the hardware is destroyed. I was able to salvage the SD card and cords. Oh my, do you know what could have happened? If I were to take a guess, I'd say gamer rage. This thing may not be big, but it can handle falling and such. That sounds about right. My uncle does have a temper. All I would need is the case, the Pi itself, and his controllers replaced. Okay, I'll talk to my uncle. She calls me back an hour later. So my uncle is claiming that you smashed it. What? I know. Hold on, my dad wants to talk to you. Okay. Hey, my brother's claiming that the device you made for him was faulty. He claimed that he called you and you were apparently very condescending to him. No, sir, I wasn't. I tried to ask some questions about the Pi and he wouldn't even give me an answer. When I arrived to check on the Pi, he handed it to me in a plastic bag and it was completely smashed. And then said it was my problem now. I figured as much. He's done this multiple times to get his way. I'll take care of it, and don't worry about fixing it. Okay, thank you. After that, I get a call about 2 days later from the uncle. He was angry, wondering why I called Sally and her dad. I simply told him, it's your problem now. He never called back, and I kept the SD card for my future projects as an apology from Sally for my troubles. Okay, first of all, Sally and her family are definitely enabling that entitled uncle. They need to stop giving him everything he wants like he's a spoiled child. At least though they told OP not to fix the emulator, and OP got to keep the SD card. Entitled uncle still needs a serious reality check though, perhaps some anger management as well. Neighbors throw a fit, I put a fence up, hence denying their grandkids a place to play. Long story short, my neighbors have temporary custody of their 4 grandkids, 8, 6, 4, and 2, give or take, after their son was arrested for arson and their daughter-in-law flew the coop. My 3 roomies and I have 2 dogs that enjoy to play in the yard, but it has recently become unsafe when they began the construction in front of our house. Due to that, people won't use the main street and decide to drive up and down the alley, meaning these people will drive into people's yards to get out of the way of other vehicles instead of being patient and waiting at the end of the alley. I actually had a Mexican standoff one day with a guy who pulled into the middle of my driveway and wouldn't move, so people were pissed. I couldn't get home. What the F am I supposed to do? Anyways, my roomies and I said enough is enough, measured our yard, got the okay from the borough, and built a fence. Because it was right on the property line, my neighbor had come over to confront us. He's asking why are we building a fence, and asking if we made sure it was okay with the borough first. I said we did, and we didn't like people driving up into the yard anymore to get out of the way of other cars. Plus, we didn't want anyone to hit our dogs if they were outside playing. He then gets all huffy that how are his grandkids supposed to play outside now, with us blocking off our yard. Went on a 15-minute rant about how us young kids are ruining things for his grandchildren. First off, my friends and I never agreed to the kids playing in the yard, nor did we have any knowledge of it. Now, knowing the information, what was stopping my neighbor from claiming my roomies and I had hurt the kids while playing in the yard? My neighbor stormed out without me getting a word in, and has been complaining about the fence all summer, and now it's winter, has began complaining since the snow began. How I'm not allowing these kids to have a childhood. I don't get how it's my fault that they took on these kids and don't have a yard and expect me to share mine. So far, other than them vandalizing my fence and throwing stuff over into my yard, nothing bad has happened. Yet. Geez, that neighbor is literally the definition of an entitled boomer, stating that us young folk ruin everything, yet on the same breath proclaim that he is entitled to someone else's yard and property. Oh, okay. I definitely suggest that OP gets a no trespassing sign or 6, because the neighbor seems like the type of person that would sue if anything were to ever quote-unquote happen, if his grandkids got quote-unquote hurt or quote-unquote bit by OP's dogs, if you catch my drift. Entitled mom / Karen tried to steal vintage Lego. Context: I gave my younger brother my entire Lego collection when he was around 6. 8 years later, he decided to build all my old sets and display them around his room. I mostly had the 1999 to 2005 Star Wars sets and a few Cities / Adventurers / Rock Raider sets. He built all the 99 to 02 Star Wars sets and was missing one. The 2000 Millennium Falcon was the last set he needed to complete his collection. I was feeling nostalgic and a bit butthurt since when I was a kid, I wanted it badly but never got it. I knew a toy store that sold vintage Lego sets in the box, and this is where the story begins. Me, OP, EM, entitled mom, CK, cool kid, TO, toy owner. During my lunch break, I decided to visit the toy store to see if they had the Falcon, or at least an unboxed version. Honestly, I was just going to get my little bro a Christmas gift and wasn't planning on actually finding it. Lo and behold, they did actually have an unopened set. I walked over to the register and inquired, and after a bit of haggling, I was able to get a good deal on it, $150. I had done a bit of research online and saw some for a crazy amount of prices. I paid the amount, got my receipt, and waited while the TO brought it down from a very high shelf. This is where I feel a tap on my shoulder and I turn towards EM and CK. She sweetly asked if she could please go first as she needs a small toy to purchase for her baby. Since I already paid, I said sure, go ahead, and she waits for the TO that was helping me. She starts saying things like, "Hello, is anyone working? I'm running late, excuse me," etc. I decide to intervene and tell her that the TO is just getting something I purchased. She rolled her eyes at me and starts talking to CK, saying he'll get his toy soon. CK was about 7-ish. The TO finally comes with a falcon and CK starts going crazy for it. EM smiles and tells the lady that she'll purchase that toy immediately, to which the lady states it's not for sale. EM goes into crazy mode and starts cussing out the lady while demanding to see the manager. TO states she is the owner and manager of the store and her word is final. EM huffs and then asks who purchased it. The TO ignores her and asks me if I still want the toy wrapped. At this point, I just wanted to get out of there, so I decline and state that I would just take it as is. TO hands it to me and EM immediately starts cussing me out and telling me I don't need toys and that I'm just a man-child that has no job and no value in life. I start leaving and CK tries, to no avail, to get his mom's attention. EM follows me out the door and somehow was able to snatch the receipt from my butt pocket. She stood there smugly. She was wearing a face mask, so I could only imagine the grin she had underneath, and demanded I hand the falcon over. I turn, and finally out of anger and annoyance I tell her, "Over my dead body, Karen." CK calls out again to the EM, and EM says that he'll get his toy soon. CK asks to hold the receipt, to which EM gives to him. He then proceeds to hand it over to me and apologizes. I honestly was taken away by this and did not expect it at all from a 7-ish kid. To top it off, he says, "I'm not supposed to be here anyways. My mom just got tired of me being in Zoom all day for school and she's super cranky." EM goes bat crap and proceeds to berate me for stealing her baby's toy. I thank the kid and leave, not bothering to turn back. From a distance, I just hear CK say, "I don't want that anyway. I want a PS5. I'll start off by saying OP is the best brother ever, and I'm so glad that his brother appreciates the Lego that has been given to him. I've been a Lego enthusiast since I was probably around 6. Sadly, all my vintage Lego sets got sold or thrown away, but I picked up the hobby again about 9 years ago when I was 18 and saw the most glorious Lego haunted house. So I bought it, built it for 6 hours straight, and it's still one of my most prized possessions. Anyways, I won't bore you with my nerdy love for Lego, but I will say, screw you, Karen. OP is not a man-child. Lego is for all ages. It says age 4 to 99 on the box. But that is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed those 3 entitled people stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit stories. Bye!